I appeal to all honourable members of Parliament to spend at least 50% of their MPLADS funds on Swachh Bharat mission. Honourable members, India lives in our village. My government attaches the highest priority to sustainable socio-economic growth of rural areas. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme can be a powerful weapon to combat rural poverty while implementing Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme with renewed vigor. Emphasis is being placed on improving quality and durability of assets under the program. Besides, mandating that at least 60% of expenditure be directed for creation of agricultural infrastructure. In keeping with my government's focus on Skill India, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana and Deen Dayal Upadhyay Antoday Yojana have been announced. Sanshad Adarsh Gram Yojana, launched in October 2014, focuses on integrated and holistic development of our villages with active involvement of members of Parliament. Housing is a fundamental requirement for dignified living. My government is steadfast in fulfilling the aspirations of all households, particularly the poorest of the poor, to have a dwelling unit under the mission of housing for all by 2022, marking 75 years of our independence. A set of fiscal and non-fiscal incentives have been devised to leverage the value of land holding with government and to afford flexibility to state governments in designating their own customized housing programs. To aid investment in housing sectors, my government has liberalized FDI policy, increased tax incentives for housing loans, and enhanced the corpus of National Housing Bank. Honourable members, my government attaches paramount importance to safeguard the interests of farmers and families affected by land acquisition, while taking utmost care to protect the interest of farmers, including their compensation entitlements. The right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act has been suitably defined to minimize certain procedural difficulties in acquisition of land, inevitably required for critical public projects of infrastructure and for creation of basic amenities like rural housing, schools, hospitals, particularly in remote areas. Honourable members, Kishan is the sentinel of our food security. Annadata Sukhi Bhavo have been one of our fundamental civilizational values. My government attaches enormous importance to the well-being of farmers. This will need value-added agriculture, market reform, use of technology, and improving productivity in areas with untapped potential. The year 2015 has been designated as International Year of Soils. In view of the critical role of soil for productivity and farm output, a soil health card scheme has been launched. Price Stabilization Fund with a corpus of Rs 500 crore has been set up to perishable commodities. To address the irrigation requirements of every village in an effective and sustainable manner, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana is being launched. Extensions programs have been devised targeting resource poor small and marginal farmers, particularly focusing on organic farming and greenhouse technology. Rashtriya Gokul Mission has been launched with the objective of conserving and developing indigenous cattle breeds. Honorable members, food processing has immense potential in generating employment in the rural areas, particularly in the landless poor, besides guaranteeing remunerative price for the farm produce. Creating infrastructure in rural areas to minimize supply chain losses is a priority. A special fund of Rs 2,000 crores to provide affordable credit to the units in 72 notified food parks has been made operational. 2 mega food parks at Tumkur and Fazilka, each to provide direct, indirect employment to 30,000 people, have been commissioned in the last 6 months. Former Prime Minister Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee had said, and I quote, "Poverty has multiple effects. Besides impacting our economy, it corrodes our democracy," unquote. Inclusive growth, covering the poorest of the poor from the most vulnerable and disadvantaged sections of our society, is my government's topmost priority. Thrust has been given to streamlining the scholarship schemes for students from SC, ST, OBC and minority communities to ensure timely disbursement to the beneficiaries. Government has set up a new venture capital fund for SC entrepreneurs to upgrade skill and training in traditional arts, crafts of minorities, a new scheme upgrading the skill and training in traditional arts, crafts for development, Ustad, is being launched. Outcome-based integrated approach has been adopted for tribal development under the Ban Bandhu Kalyan Yojana. Nanaji Deshmukh scheme is being launched for construction of hostels for denotified, nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes. Honorable members, education is the priority of priorities for my government. Pade Bharat, Bare Bharat has been launched to improve foundational learning outcomes. An initiative to map the entire country on a GIS platform to identify habitations without schools has been taken. Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teachers Training has been launched to empower and increase the capacity of teachers. The Rashtriya Aviskar Abhiyan has been announced to imbibe scientific temper among students to ensure access to education in the remotest areas. Ishan Vikas and Ishan Uday schemes have been started with focus on students of northeastern region. My government has formulated national sports talent search schemes for encouraging sporting talent amongst children in the age group of 8 to 12 through National Sports Development Fund and target Olympic podium. Honorable members, India has the largest population of youth in the world. Majority of our population is already in the working age group. To tap this demographic dividend and to bridge the demand-supply gap in skilled workforce, my government has created a new Ministry of the Skill Development and Entrepreneurship with the theme, Hunar Hai to Kalyan Hai. A new national policy for school development and entrepreneurship is on the anvil to align skilling initiatives with global standards. Focus will be on youth from deprived households in rural areas. Public-private partnership is being fostered to create skill development models and channelizes CSR funds into skilling activities. Honorable members, my government is committed to providing affordable and accessible health care to all its citizens, particularly the vulnerable sections, in an efficient and equitable manner. To reduce preventable deaths, India Newborn Action Plan has been initiated and 4 new vaccines have been approved. Mission Indradhanush has been launched to achieve universal immunization with special focus on 184 high-priority districts across the country. To create an inclusive, enabling, and empowering environment for persons with disability, my government has launched new scholarship schemes for students with disabilities. A national helpline with toll-free numbers has been launched for those who need help against drug de-addiction and for rehabilitation. My government has recently elevated the erstwhile Department of Ayush to a full-fledged ministry with an objective to increase the global and local footprint in the traditional system of healthcare, duly recognized that our villages have been repositories of our rich Ayurvedic heritage. National Ayush Mission has been launched to promote cost-effective Ayush services, strengthen the education system, and facilitate availability of quality Ayush drugs. Honorable members, women have had a place of reverence in our society since time immemorial. My government has taken several measures to empower and protect the dignity of women, to provide complete support to women affected by violence. One-stop crisis centers, one in every state, are being set up for provision of integrated services, including medical aid, police assistance, temporary shelter, and legal and psychosocial counseling. Another initiative has been the launch of Himmat, a mobile-based application to ensure women's safety in Delhi. Honorable members, the unabated decline in child sex ratio since 1961 is a matter of grave concern. This trend has to be reversed to ensure survival, protection, and education of the girl child. My government has launched Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao Abhiyan, which seeks to change mindsets to celebrate the girl child. A new small savings scheme, Sukanya Smridhi account, has been notified for enabling the education of the girl child. A bill to amend Juvenile Justice Act has been introduced in Parliament to reform the law relating to juvenile offences. Honorable members, Shramik is the backbone of our economy. My government believes in Shram Eva Jayati and has taken several labour welfare measures. Apprentice Protsahan Yojana has been launched to promote apprentices in micro, small and medium enterprises in manufacturing sector. EPF subscriptions have been made portable, benefiting casual workers in the unorganized sector. Under the Employees Provident Fund Act, the statutory wage ceiling and the minimum pension have been enhanced to Rs 15,000 and Rs 1,000 respectively. While my government is fully committed to expand the job market and to promote the welfare of workers, it is also committed to bringing in transparency and accountability in enforcement of labor-related regulations. To this end, Shram Subidha portal has been launched to ensure ease of doing business by allowing industry to register online and file a simple online return instead of 16 separate returns. A transparent online inspection scheme has been launched. Recent amendments to the Apprentices Act 1961 have made the legal framework friendly to both industry and employable youths. Honourable members, legal reform is one of the priorities of my government. My government believes that governance and reforms are combined effort of Team India consisting of Parliament, Union government, state legislatures, state governments and the people of India. An example of this collaborative effort is the reform in the process of appointment of judges to the High Courts and Supreme Court and the legislation to set up National Judicial Appointments Commission. The government is also committed to repeal the obsolete and redundant laws. A committee constituted for this purpose has identified 1,741 central acts for repeal under various categories. Honourable members, maximum governance, minimum government is the guiding principle of my government, with an aim to take governance to the doorsteps of the poorest of the poor in remotest areas. Focus is on simplification of official procedures and reducing the decision-making levels in government by leveraging technology. The system of group of ministers has been dispensed with, and emphasis is on swift decision-making, while introducing stricter and sterner measures to deal with corruption. Effort is being made to ensure that sufficient safeguards are in place to protect bona fide decisions taken in public interest and to inspire confidence in the civil service. My government is finally committed to engage people in the process of governance and policy making. My Gov online platform, a path-breaking initiative, has been launched. This platform has ensured public participation in decision-making and ideation of various national flagships programs like Swachh Bharat Mission, Namami Gange, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana and Niti Aayog. My government has envisioned an ambitious umbrella program, Digital India, to prepare India for technology-based transformation and citizen-centric, transparent governance with service orientation. Aadhaar-based attendance system and Jivan Praman, Aadhaar-based digital life certificate portal have shown that innovative use of technology can make enormous difference. Measures are being taken to accomplish digital inclusion in rural areas, small towns, northeast, and other remote areas, opening up immense job opportunities in these areas. Promoting manufacturing of electronic goods has been an area of thrust. My government is placed to decentralization of power, and as an important step in this direction, the Planning Commission has been replaced with a new body, the National Institute for Transforming India, Niti Aayog. The underlying spirit of Niti Aayog is to foster the spirit of cooperative federalism so that union and state governments can come on a platform to forge a common national agenda for development with thrust on empowering the impoverished. Honorable members, as a result of my government's sustained efforts and series of policy initiatives, our economy is again on the high growth trajectory. According to the latest estimates, our GDP is growing at 7.4%, which makes India the fastest growing large economy in the world. Inflation and food inflation in particular are at record low due to number of decisive measures taken by my governments. Fixed capital formation, which faced a near stagnation in the last few years, has increased. Capital markets are upbeat. Our external sector is now far more resilient, particularly with a moderate current account deficit and a broadly stable rupee. Our foreign exchange reserves have been substantially augmented. While my government has intensified efforts to bring greater efficiency and equity into the tax system, prudence on expenditure management is also high on the agenda of my government. A constitutional amendment bill has been introduced to bring in goods and service tax that will simplify the indirect tax regime, broaden the tax base, and result in better tax compliance. Honorable members, my government is committed to taking all possible measures to stop generation of black money, both domestically and internationally. These measures include putting in place robust legislative and administrative frameworks, systems and process with due focus on capacity building, integration of information through technology, and the fast-tracking prosecution. Financial sector institutional restructuring is a priority area. My government will expedite implementation of the recommendations of the Financial Sector Legislative Reforms Commission. SEBI's new foreign portfolio investment regulation have established a unified, simple regulatory framework. The Insurance Laws Amendment Ordinance 2014 has promulgated enhancing the foreign equity cap from 26% to 49%, while safeguarding Indian ownership and control. This will enhance capital availability and ensure better access to insurance services, especially in rural areas for economically weaker sections. Small banks and payments bank are being permitted to expand the reach of the banking system. Honorable members, my government has taken major initiative for improving ease of doing business through simplification and rationalization of existing rules and procedures, leveraging IT and use of modern technologies is a key strategy. Single window in hub-spoke model is being made a reality. Applying for industrial license and industrial entrepreneur memorandum can now be done online on 24/7 basis on the eBeej website. A number of entry and exit regulations have been eased out. My government has launched the Make in India program, which aims to create a wholesome ecosystem to transform India into a manufacturing hub. FDI in railways has been opened up selectively to bring in much-needed capital, state-of-the-art technology, and global best practices. FDI in defense has been increased to 49%, subject to certain conditions. FDI norms in constructions and development sector have been relaxed. Continuous evaluation of inverted duties is being undertaken to make Indian industries competitive. Stress is being laid on research and innovation, while focusing our attention on manufacturing for creating more jobs. My government will continue to work on our formidable strength in the service sectors. Honorable governments, my government is committed to realize the true potential of entrepreneurs in India by nurturing MSME sector. 21 MSME clusters are being supported by providing soft skills and common facilities through 965 interventions. Khadi and village industries and traditional industries clusters are initiated in border, hill, and poverty-stricken areas of the country. Focus is on technology upgradation, better financial access, and market linkage to MSME units. Textile sector is the second largest employer after agriculture, providing direct employment of over 4.5 crore people. The sector also contributes 1/7 of industrial production and brings more than 1/4 of the country's foreign exchange inflows. The growth and all-round development of this sector has a direct bearing on the improvement of our economy, particularly the poor artisans. Recent initiatives like setting up a trade facilitation centers in different parts of India, bringing textile marketing online, incentives for technical textiles, promotion of Pashmina, special focus on increasing the coverage of northeastern part of the country would lead to advancement of this sector. Honorable members, cities are the engines of economic growth. My government is committed to building modern amenities and infrastructure in our urban areas. The National Urban Development Mission is being finalized, particularly focusing on water and solid waste management infrastructure. After extensive stakeholder consultation, the Smart City programs is close to finalization. These two programs are interlinked and will prepare our nation for an increasingly urban future. Honorable members, robust infrastructure is critical for ascertaining economic development and reviving economic growth. Indian railways are the arteries of our economy. My government is committed to reform and infuse new vitality into the sector through better services, improved passenger safety, and increased movement of freight. Two dedicated freight corridors, namely Eastern DFC and Western DFC, are likely to be commissioned by 2019. Action for conducting feasibility studies for the Diamond Quadrilateral project of high-speed trains connecting Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata has been taken up. Metro rail projects have been sanctioned for Ahmedabad and Nagpur. Honorable members, several policy initiatives to revive the highway sector have been taken. National Highways Infrastructure Development Corporation Limited has been set up for creation of infrastructure in the northeastern states and border regions of the country. New standards have been set to improve quality of roads, both on highways and in the rural areas, and electronic tolling has been introduced for hassle-free traffic on selected highways. E-rickshaws and e-cart have been introduced as a separate category under the Motor Vehicle Act 1988, enhancing convenience of passengers and generating thousands of jobs. My government has taken proactive steps to promote shipping industry. These include giving lifetime licenses to Indian ships, allowing Indian ships to flag out of countries' waters freely reduction of excise duty on the bunker fuel, and reduction of customs duty on the steel scrap of ship breaking. Government has also formulated Sagarmala projects to promote port-led development of the coastal regions and communities as part of Make in India, initiating ship designing capabilities, ship building and ship repair activities will be strengthened, and environment